Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Bex here today to share my summer book haul with you. I have 8 books here that I have slowly been accumulating over the past 6 months or so, since basically after Christmas, because I did a holiday book haul then. These have mostly been thrifted. One of them I got as a gift, and I did have to buy 2 books for the BookTube prize. I'll start with the 6 that are new to me that I haven't picked up yet, and I'll end with those 2 BookTube prize purchases. So the first one is Get a Life, Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I heard enough people talking about this on BookTube that I decided to give it a try when I spotted it in the thrift store. I am not a romance reader, whether that's contemporary, historical. It's just not typically my thing, but every once in a while I will dabble and see if I find something that I like. And this one was there, and I decided that I would read the first page or so, and I kind of liked the writing style. It seemed fun, it seemed fast, and worth me picking up. This one, for those of you that haven't read it, follows Chloe Brown, and she's decided that she needs to get a life, and she makes a list of these different things that she needs to do, such as ride a motorcycle, enjoy a drunken night out. And in order to accomplish these tasks, she enlists the help of somebody named Redford, or Red, and I imagine that the 2 of them in this process will start to fall for each other. For the second book, we are going from the contemporary romance side of the spectrum to the opposite end when it comes to books, and we're looking at a modern war classic. This is All Quiet on the Western Front. It's by a German author, and I apologize for my pronunciation on this. It's by Erich Maria Remarque. I feel like I'm sort of slipping into a bit of a French accent there, but that is who this book is by, and many of you will probably be aware of this. It was published many years ago. There have been a few different adaptations of it. Most recently, the 2022 movie that was nominated for a bunch of awards. I did watch that movie, and so I do have a general idea of where this story is going to go, but I already knew before then that it is just particularly depressing. It's about the horrors of war. It starts with some German schoolboys in 1914. They're excited to go to war. They see it as a valiant thing, an adventure, and then as the story goes on, they discover that war is actually hell, and they are watching their friends die, and for what? I'm someone that does enjoy reading war stories, and although this one has always been on my list, I was particularly excited to see it in the thrift store in the exact cover that I wanted. There's a lot of kind of meh to ugly covers of this out there, but this vintage classics edition with the poppy on the front, oh, I just love it. I was so excited when I saw this. I think the movie and the popularity of the movie has kind of helped this book sort of start circulating a little bit more again. But looking forward to this. It's going to be depressing, but I am still looking forward to it. Third, I have Once There Were Wolves by Charlotte McConaughey. This one I actually found in a little free library near me. There's a few that are within relative walking distance, but they usually have very slim pickings. So I was really excited when I saw this one there, because this is a book that I've seen a few different people talk about, and it's relatively new. It definitely has a bit of a creepy vibe to the cover, which I love. This one is about Inti, who arrives in the Scottish Highlands with a team of biologists to reintroduce grey wolves to the ecosystem. And it seems like Inti has tied a lot of her meaning for her life into these grey wolves and the success of this and how it's going to help her and her sister. And it seems like things are going well with the reintroduction, and then a farmer ends up being found dead. Inti thinks that people are going to blame the grey wolves, and she doesn't think it was the wolves. But if it's not the wolves, then who was it? So, a little bit of a mystery. We've got some family drama here. Definitely seems a bit more like a fall read. I don't mind holding on to it if I get to look at this great cover. Fourth, I have On Fire, The Burning Case for a Green New Deal by Naomi Klein. This is a book that I have had on my want to read list since it came out. So that was like 2019, so it's been a little bit, but then I spotted it in the thrift store and was like, hey, I wanted to read you. This is written by a journalist, and I'm not entirely sure if this is a collection of new essays or if this is a collection of articles that have been published in different publications. I'm really not sure, but either way, this talks about climate change, the climate crisis, and really talks up the importance of the Green New Deal and what kind of needs to be done in order to keep this earth from completely imploding on itself thanks to human beings. So maybe not necessarily a super cheery book, but I feel like there's going to be a lot of good things in here that I can sort of take away and learn and apply to even where we are now, a few years down the line from when this was published. I then have The Children on the Hill by Jennifer McMahon. I will say I was not particularly interested in reading this book, but I have been interested in reading a Jennifer McMahon book in general because she is an author from Vermont, and that's sort of the draw for me, the intrigue. So when I spotted this one, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. And not only is this written by a Vermont author, but the story itself takes place there as well. So it's sort of like a little double whammy. So this is a dual timeline book. We've got a timeline in 1978 that follows a psychiatrist who's working with the mentally ill at a treatment center in Vermont. And there's a specific child that she ends up bringing home to live with her, I guess, and her grandkids, and sort of the relationship that builds up there. And then fast forward to the 2019 timeline, where we have somebody named Lizzie, who's the host of a popular podcast that goes to Vermont to research this story about a girl being abducted, and there's rumors of some sort of monster around, which sounds a bit ridiculous, but apparently it's inspired by the novel Frankenstein. Just inspired. So we'll see exactly what that means. But yeah, mostly just reading this to see if I like Jennifer McMahon as an author, because if so, that'd be cool, because then I can read a few other things by her. This one is a chunker. Very big book. This is The Warmth of Other Suns, The Epic Story of America's Great Migration by Isabel Wilkerson. I've read Caste by the same author, and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. She did such a good job of explaining what she was talking about and making it interesting, like weaving examples and people's stories together to sort of illustrate the point that she was trying to get across. This book was published before Caste, but it seems like it has the potential to be written in the same way. This big book is about the Great Migration, the movement of Black citizens from the South to the North in the United States from about 1915 to 1970. It says on the back here that she interviewed about 1,000 people for this novel, which is a lot of people. So because of that, I'm really hoping that there's some interesting stories in here that she'll have weaved in as she's sort of explaining what happened. And yeah, so for that reason, I am really looking forward to this. It's a floppy, which is great. It's a floppy book, but I know it might be a little bit before I pick this up because it is so big, and I do have a bit of a big book fear. Lastly, I have my 2 books that I bought for the BookTube prize. The first one is the one that I have fully finished, and that is Paradise Falls, A Deadly Secret, A Cover-Up, and the Women Who Forged the Modern Environmental Movement by Keith O'Brien. This one takes place in the late 1970s, early to mid 1980s in Niagara Falls, New York. There's a community, a neighborhood that was built near Love Canal. And the people who live there notice that sometimes there are these really odd smells that really seem to come from their basements or just out in the air. Maybe the water kind of has a weird look to it, like the streams and the woods around their house. Or weird things seem to happen in the fields and the playground near the school. And eventually, these people figure out that it's chemicals. The mothers in particular are very worried about their families and their children and what's going to happen, like how's this going to affect them. So they all band together and try to get help from the local, state, and federal government to get this fixed, but it turns out to be much, much more of a mountain to climb than maybe they ever originally thought. So it's a very frustrating read because you feel for these women and what they're trying to do, and all the bureaucracy and the people who are turning them away, don't believe what they're saying. Anyway, it's such a good read. I'm going to talk more about it in my quarter 2 wrap up when that eventually comes out. So if you're interested to hear more of my thoughts on that, you will eventually, once that video is filmed and uploaded. The last book that I have is the one that I'm currently reading, and that is We Don't Know Ourselves, A Personal History of Modern Ireland by Fintan O'Toole. This author was born and raised in Ireland. He was born in 1958, and so each chapter in this book is a year of his life, but it is also a year in Irish history. And he talks about how when he was born, the sort of country that Ireland was, it was really floundering in its identity. So many people that were born there were emigrating to other countries, so their population wasn't even really stable. And he follows the sort of cultural, economic, and social changes over his life. I presume pretty much up to present day. I'm currently in the early 1970s, but you can sort of see how Ireland has changed. Sort of the quirks of the country as well are deeply explored. The relationship between Ireland and Northern Ireland, the Catholic Church, in England, all of those things are deeply discussed in here. It is pretty intellectual, so it is taking me a bit longer to read than I thought, but it is surprisingly funny at times. I am overall enjoying my experience with this, and you will also hear more about this in my eventual quarter 2 wrap up. Those are the 8 books that I have acquired in the last 6 months or so. If you've read any of these books, please let me know what you thought of them in the comments below. As always, all of our links are in the down bar. You can go check those out if you feel so inclined. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you later.